Well, folks, it is Fed Day. This is the day we have been talking about for at least 6 weeks. Will we get the 25 basis points that we all expect? Will the Fed surprise us with 50? Will Jerome Powell be a hawk or a dove at the 2 o'clock or 2:30 press conference? At the end of the day, as I'm sitting here right now, I fully expect the quarter point. We have been talking about a quarter point on this meeting for at least 6 months. I see no reason to change. But I do expect Jerome Powell to be more hawkish during the press conference than the market expects. My wild ass guess is we will get the quarter point, we will get a hawkish Fed, we will get a quick blip in rates, and then by tomorrow or the next day, the bond market will continue to say, Jerome Powell, we don't believe you. What I think is going to be the most important part about the Fed meeting is, what will they say about March? Will they say something like more rate increases are coming? Or will they say we will be data dependent? I don't know. If I were a betting man, I would guess he's going to say more to come. Because I don't think Powell likes what's going on in the stock market and or the bond market. So it is Fed Day. Let's see what happens. Leave your comments below. Anybody going to guess 50 basis points? If you think 50 below, let me know. As I have said repeatedly, I want them to do 50. I just don't believe they will. So let me know, comments below. Couple of things that else I read about. Looks like the Eurozone. Everybody's been saying the Eurozone is going to go into a recession. Well, good news and bad news. The Eurozone collectively in Q4 reported a positive 0.1% GDP on an expectation of negative 0.1. So better than expected. That said, both Germany, which is the largest economy in the Eurozone, and Italy, which is the third largest country in the Eurozone, both reported negative. So the biggest countries clearly appear to be slowing down, seem to be suffering the early indications. So we shall see. Looks like Jim Chanos. If you don't know who Jim Chanos is, he is one of the best known short sellers. He is on record with saying bear markets typically trade at 9 to 14 times. He is saying, look at the S&P, it's up roughly 5% in January. Investors, you and me, the retail investors, are pricing in a Goldilocks scenario where inflation comes down, no recession. Jim Chanos clearly doesn't believe that. In fact, Jim Chanos says, if you believe the S&P 500's earnings collectively will be $200, and you believe in the 9 to 14 times, he thinks the S&P 500 could get to 2,800. This is Jim Chanos' call, not mine. But I think it bears digging into and looking into. General Motors crushes expectations and guides higher, but margins are down. So again, as supply chain loosens up, they are able to sell more cars, right? More cars means more revenue. However, higher costs are driving margins down. So they're less profitable by cars, but they're selling more cars, if that makes sense. GM is looking to establish $2 billion in cost cutting over the next 2 years. They do not expect layoffs, but they are looking for cost cutting, plant shutdowns, things of that nature. So we shall see. McDonald's beat top line, beat bottom line on strong demand. More and more consumers are going to McDonald's for their lunch or their dinner. However, McDonald's says that the inflation in food prices is not letting up. So they actually are forecasting margins down, right? Again, like GM, selling more, but margins down. Caterpillar misses bottom line. They hit revenue but missed bottom line. They blamed currency impact. Pfizer gave a weak forecast. Pulte Group. Pulte Group is important for this channel, right? It's a real estate channel. What did Pulte Group say? They beat top line, beat bottom line, and gross margin rose. And closings were up 3%. It's not all good news. Their new orders were down 41%, and their year-on-year cancellation rate is now 32%. One thing that the CEO of Pulte Group said is we are going to build smaller and cheaper homes. How long have you and I been talking about builders need to build smaller or cheaper homes? Well, at least Pulte Group is talking about it, so let's see if something comes out of it. Spotify beat top line, missed bottom line. Their paid subs are up 14%. Case-Shiller, basically the big 20 home markets, median price is down 2.5% since June. Month on month down -5. We've had 5 months of negative price growth. However, year on year, still up 7.7%. We're not going to have a negative year on year number, no matter what the crash bros say. FHFA, remember FHFA reports the same day as Case-Shiller, although it's more middle market, right? Case-Shiller is the big markets, FHFA is the middle. 2 months ago, positive. Last month, 0 or flat. This month, -0.1. Looks like the West took it on the chin at down -0.1, where North Central was up 0.5%. Other earnings that came out, Snap, right? Remember Snap 3 or 4 quarters ago kind of led the decline in apps that use advertising. They missed top line, missed revenue. Daily active users are up slightly. And again, Snap declined to report a forecast. Folks, I don't blame them, but at some point, not giving a forecast is going to get your stock hammered. Goldman Sachs is buying an entire Florida community for $45 million. Again, we've talked about private equity hedge funds and other ilk having money on the sidelines, buying rental properties. Goldman Sachs, again, buys entire Florida community for $45 million. AMD beat top line, beat bottom line, but warns of 10% revenue decline. PayPal has joined the layoff party with 2,000 or 7%. Electronic Arts in the video game market talked about missing revenue and lowering expectations. Western Digital lowers expectations, and finally Match Group did the same thing. So a lot of stuff going on in the market. I think it is important that it's Fed Day. Will the street get what they expect? Will Powell be a hawk or a dove? The good news is we'll know in 4 or 5 hours. I hope you have an amazing day. This is One Rental at a Time. Like, subscribe, comment, and I hope you've enjoyed the light show over my shoulder. Bye-bye.